What's the crazy thing that happened at your school? This absolute creep at our high school for some reason started spreading around this story that he'd done the deed with my best friend Anya. Anya's really pretty, but she likes to just keep her head down and focus on school, so she was shocked that some guy was trying to drag her into drama like this. She asked this guy what his deal was and told him to please stop, but he just told her that no one was going to believe her story over his, especially when he had proof. Neither of us had any idea what he was talking about until we got to school the next day and found out he'd been distributing photoshopped explicit pictures of her. I knew obviously that it was just Anya's head pasted on some other girl's body. It didn't even really look like her body at all because whatever girl he used was really skinny and Anya's pretty curvy. But the guys at our school are dumb and they all believed that it was actually Anya and were making fun of her and calling her names online. Anya cried with me on the phone for an hour that night. I was furious on her behalf, and by the end of her conversation, she'd stopped being sad and was ready to get even. I had no idea what she was planning, but the next day in homeroom, we were at our desks and the guy came in. He started making comments to her about how she better stop pretending they didn't do the nasty, because otherwise he was going to tell everyone about the freaky stuff she supposedly made him do. Anya got up from her desk and ripped off all her clothes. She said, "This is what my actual body looks like, and this is the closest you will ever come to touching it." People were screaming and my teacher just about fainted, but it was obvious to everyone in the room that the guy had lied and faked the pictures. Anya got suspended, but so did the guy. I was so proud of her. Hey, what's the crazy thing that happened at your school?
What in the actual hell did I just listen and watch to? Also, why the hell was there tofu combined with cheese? That's like the worst combination. Tofu is like mostly Western and tofu is mostly Asian or more Eastern. And when I mean Eastern, I mean like I guess 8. I don't know, man. I probably shouldn't do that. It's great, but mostly, I shouldn't say anything. What did I just hear? What is it with her? You know what? I'm making an entire series based off of these stupid, fake, cringy, sus, freaky Reddit stories. Like, bro, if I were her, I probably would have just said he had a small ding-dong, lasted 8 seconds. That probably would have gotten him bullied. Also, why the hell did it? You know what? I'm not even gonna mention it. You know what? Let's watch more.
How did you cross the line to protect your family? When my older brother Danny came home one day with a black eye and trembling hands, I knew something terrible had happened. He told me he'd been jumped by 3 men after work. They stole his paycheck, broke his jaw, and left him in an alley to bleed. My brother, who'd worked 2 jobs to help put me through college, begged me not to tell our parents. He said the police wouldn't do anything, and he just wanted to forget it. But I couldn't forget. I stayed up for days trying to figure out what to do. My heart ached every time I saw him struggling to eat with his wired jaw, or wincing in pain when he thought no one was watching. Then, I found Danny's attackers posting about it online. They laughed about what they did, showing off his stolen wallet like it was a trophy. That was the moment I snapped. I tracked them down through their posts, piecing together where they lived. I told myself I just wanted to scare them, to make them feel a fraction of the fear and pain they'd caused. I showed up at their apartment one night with a baseball bat. At first, they laughed, until I swung it at one of their knees. Then everything went blurry. By the time I came to my senses, all 3 were on the ground, groaning in pain. I ran, adrenaline and terror pumping through my veins, but deep down, I knew it wasn't over. It went viral. The Vigilante Avenger, they called me. People argued whether I was a hero or a monster, but all I could think about was my brother's face when he found out. He hugged me and cried, saying, "You didn't have to do this for me." How did you cross the line?
Bro, how real is this? How real is this? How can someone talk with a broken jaw? You need your jaw in order to talk, because if my jaw was like broken or dislocated, I would be acting like this. I'd be speaking like this, and this is only my interpretation, for Pete's sake. Yeah, I know. Very convincing. I know. I'm actually a voice actor. Okay, that's clearly a joke. But like, Vigilante Adventure, like if this actually happened, it would have been on the news, okay? And if it were on the news, Reddit is like only a couple of years old, okay? Like by now it would have been at least covered once, you know? Yeah, no, there's very bad Wi-Fi issues.
What's your best "don't bite the hand that feeds you" story? Ever since I hit puberty, protecting my mom and younger brother has become second nature to me. When our power got cut off, 14-year-old me sold my gaming console to pay for it, and lied to my mom that the money came from this friend that owed me. So when I found my chubby younger's lunchbox completely smashed, with the leftovers dumped over his homework for the second time, I was ready to play dirty, literally. You see, I was the one to install the sewer cleanout pipe in their back garden, which meant I also knew how to block it up. And on Monday night, I put my knowledge to use. I grabbed a roll of plastic bags to fill the cleanout pipe with, and after taking a few other precautions, I messed around with the sprinkler system to force waste build up in their pipes. Knowing their home was one flush away from its poopy end ending was enough to make me chuckle, but the real thing was 100 times better than I could have ever imagined. I creeped into their garden early the next morning so I could watch my victims poop their lives away, and at 6 a.m. there was movement. The guy who bullied my brother finally walked into the bathroom and flushed, but he must have been half asleep because he didn't even notice the toilet filling up as he was leaving. Within minutes, his bathroom floor was flooded with the brownest, dirtiest, stenchiest water known to man. It was so bad I could smell it from where I was hiding, and when the guy resorted to using his hands to transfer the toilet water to the sink, I had to hold my nose to stop myself from laughing too hard. I knew they weren't exactly minted, but I thought they'd at least have enough money for some buckets or a plumber. A few hours later, the same thing happened in the other bathroom. Their house literally smelled like shoddy for weeks until they saved up enough money to hire someone. What's your best "don't bite the hand that feeds you" story? Ever since I hit puberty, protecting my mom and younger brother has become second nature to me. When our power got cut off, 14-year-old me sold my gaming console to pay for it and lied to my mom that the money came from...
Okay, how come everything I've been watching so far is just clickbaity, okay? How the hell is Reddit this brain rot? I have absolutely no idea if I am brain rot. Please, tell me. Tell me. Should I just shift my content? Like, I have like 18 other routes I could go down, but I picked this one because it feels correct.
My cat has been hiding a secret from me for years.
Lock your doors and windows. A tiger has
No.
What's the saddest thing? My teacher thought he could blackmail me into intimacy, so I pulverized his manhood to teach him a
That's a crime.
lesson. I guess I just got desensitized to being on my knees for the teacher at my school who had ties with the Harvard admission staff, because when I told my friend, I was actually surprised when she told me it was effed up. I told her that he'd let me stop at any time, but when I tried, he responded with, "Well then, I'm not sure I want to help you anymore." So now I had a choice to make. 1. I walk out and let him leak the tapes of us together and ruin my life forever. Or 2. Keep giving him what he wants and please my way into Harvard. Pretty poopy options, right? I got on my knees and undid his belt. I proceeded to bite down on his manhood as hard as I could, and even squeezed his balls with both my hands for good measure. What I heard next was a combination of a howl and a high-pitched shriek. I stopped to look up at him. His veins were almost popping out of his forehead. His jaw was clenched so tight it looked like he was mewing. I took a photo of him as leverage to stop our videos getting leaked, watched as he doubled over and vomited everywhere, gave him the finger, and walked out. Needless to say, that pretty much ruined my chances of getting into Harvard, or any Ivy League university for that matter. But I take being in a state college with my dignity and hymen still intact over selling my soul any day. My teacher thought he could
What am I even doing at this point? Why?
What's the saddest thing you found out about a coworker?
No. No.
Have you heard about the
fuck is
latest social
Zigazoo?
media?
HR workers. What workplace incident still keeps you up at night? A male coworker in our office was the sweetest man I have ever met in my life. He would bring in homemade baked goods for the entire team and would feel incredibly guilty if someone didn't get a treat. He would walk every single one of the women who worked late to their cars to make them feel safe. There was this windmill pin that he always wore as
What's the best case of instant karma you've ever witnessed? My neighbor kid had a habit of tormenting my dog Max. Max, the gentlest little guy, assumed...
Okay, this has to be at least some level of truth. I actually have
When did your revenge go too far?
watched the story, but that's
My best friend slept with my girlfriend after getting her drunk, and I just saw red. First, I called his mom and tricked her into setting up a meeting for us. I told her we had planned a surprise party for him in a parking lot, but when he got there, I beat him to a pulp with a wooden stick. I stomped on his groin until he confessed and begged me to stop. I even recorded the entire thing, but that wasn't enough since every time I saw my girlfriend I would be reminded of what he did. So I went ballistic and pulled out all of his secrets that he had confided in me. Everyone in our high school followed me at the time, so I posted everything on my Instagram. How my best friend used to date a girl 3 years younger than him, how he was a bit too much into anime, and even what type of porn he liked watching. My post went completely viral, especially because everyone already knew what he did to my girlfriend. Soon enough, people started shunning him and avoiding him altogether. My former best friend had become a loner and was bullied if he tried to change his reputation. Even the teachers had no sympathy for him after they saw what I had posted. One random night, he texted me calling me vindictive and saying I had no right to do what I did. I replied with laughing emojis, saying that he got what he deserved. If I could go back in time, I would take back what I said, because that night he jumped off a bridge. He survived, but suffered serious brain damage, and passed away in the hospital a few days later. His parents banned me from attending the funeral. When did your revenge go too far?
What? Okay. What even is this? This is worse than... Bro, how? This is almost... I need to get something to... you know what? I should probably try keeping a mud crab. I'm gonna make a community post, but I'll just go see what. Here. Okay. Oh, okay, that changes everything. Yeah, that little bastard design. Yeah, that little fucker does. Yeah, he deserves to die. He raped the... Yeah, no, I should probably stop recording, but I'm still gonna. Yeah, he committed the R word, or grape without the G. If you don't know what that means, don't search it up. Unless you already... You know what? I'm not even gonna mention. He just committed a crime. And that crime is unspeakable. Like, there's a special pit of hell. Even prison inmates don't like him. And they're ostracized. Ostracized? These videos have no scripts and no retakes. It's go with the flow.
Bartenders, what's the saddest thing that happened to you while at work? Every Friday night, the same couple came in like clockwork.